responsibility for your actions, for your state, for the condition in which you find yourself. This is a good philosophy, isn't it? However, is it absolutely true and absolutely correct? Is everything that happens to the individual always the person's responsibility? The person causes it or brought it upon him or herself? These are some questions we need to look at. However, there are certain things that are highly beneficial to that philosophy, that if you choose to take absolute responsibility for your state of affairs and for your well-being, for your success, for your failures, for whatever you experience. Why? Because you don't look to others. You don't allow others to determine your well-being as much as it's within your capacity. You don't predispose yourself to people that may try to bring you down or cut short your progress or your destiny in life. However, like one statement goes, it says, in the best of all circumstances and situations, accidents still happen. I repeat, in the best of all circumstances and situations, accidents still happen. But you have to still do whatever is within your power to prevent such accident from such traps in life. Why? Because a lot of things are beyond the control of the individual, like government policies, like what are called accidents of life, then some corruption in government places, errors in institutions, human frailty. Like the good book said, he said the heart of man is deceitful and desperately wicked. So you don't know the mind of people you are working with, you are playing with, you are toying with, you are studying with, your teammates. So their actions, their inadequacies, their mischievousness may end up affecting you at the end of the day. But because of your determination, because you don't rely on them, you still end up having the last laugh. That's why I say who last best. So most ideas have their strengths, and we try to look at some of the strengths and benefits of the philosophy. Then we also look at some of the other challenges attached to it. Number one is that if you operate with this philosophy that choose to take full responsibility for your actions, for your positives and your negatives, for your achievements and your shortcomings, then it helps to promote personal growth, because you don't look at others for blame. You look, when this one happen, well, it's because I allow it, because I produce, because I didn't consider my options very well. So in that case, you learn from the errors, you learn to improve on yourself, and you learn to develop new skills, preventive mechanism, because you have learned from that mistake. Maybe you trust somebody and that somebody disappointed you, then you know that, well, you don't take assumptions, you don't take people for granted, you don't believe people foolishly, you don't take their words for it. Somebody say, don't worry, I take care, just go to sleep, and you went to sleep, and the person ended up stabbing you in the back, then you know that next time that one will not happen. Like the Bible says, affliction will not rise up a second time. So you learn from that. So now, number two, it helps to build resilience, because now you don't have to rely on others. Then you learn to be strong in yourself. Then you say, go and rest. You've worked so much and you rest, and somebody is not taking advantage of your rest, of your trust. So you learn to be stronger. You learn to be resilient. You learn to be more persistent in your endeavors. Okay. Another advantage is that it encourages discipline, because you'll be more conscious of every step you take. You'll be more conscious of your thought pattern. You'll be more disciplined with your time, and you'll be more disciplined where you go and where you don't go. You'll be more disciplined with your philosophy of life and your psychology of life and your personality. You know that you don't bend your principles. You don't change your personal rules. You don't open your boundaries just to everyone just because they asked for it. Because once beaten, twice shy. So it helps you to be more disciplined because you know whatever the result, you bear it. Like we have a proverb in Yoruba land, southwest Nigeria. It says, "Tí ìdí bá bàjẹ́, tó nídìí ló máa dà." I repeat, tí ìdí bá bàjẹ́, tó nídìí. That means if your bum is not well managed and you allow a lot of bad things to happen to it, who will bear the pain? You are the one that will bear the pain and the horror of the infected or troubled bum. You are the one that will not be able to toilet very well. You are not be able to urinate very well. You are the one that bear because you allow it. So because it's your bum, and whatever happens to it is your pain, is your horror. So you don't allow just anybody to play with what concerns your growth and development anyhow. You can see where the philosophy works now. So you learn to be more disciplined with your boundaries. I used to say, whatsoever is not working in your favor, whatsoever is not allowing itself with your personal growth and development and goals in life, and you allow that thing may end up destroying you. So that's why you don't open your doors anyhow to just anybody just because they try to play Mr. Nice or Miss Nice. No. So you can't be too. So it helps to be more disciplined with your time, with your fears, with all that concern you. It also helps to reduce the blame, because if you believe in the blame game, you know what happens? Well, you say, well, if it doesn't go well, at least I know who to hold responsible for it, who to blame for it. But what about if the outcome will affect your life negatively and adversely, will affect your goals and personal development negatively and adversely, and you say, well, no, it's not a wise thing to do, to say, well, you don't allow anybody to tamper with what pertains to your joy, to your peace, your growth, and if you can avoid it, you don't allow them, because it's concerned. This is your life, this is your joy, this is your happiness, this is your peace, this is the wellness of your home. So you don't give it, like the Bible says, don't throw your pearls before the swine, because they don't know the value of it. They will end up trapped, and people will blame you. Why did you know? Why did you do that? Why did you allow that? You say, because I trust them, because I believe. Well, you have seen the result, you have seen the outcome. So that is part of the benefit of it. It also helps to increase your confidence in yourself. So within capacity of your ability, always make sure whatever concern you, whatsoever concern will add to your joy and happiness, put your mind in it. Remember this in a Sinuga reflection, where we talk about things that germane to your heart, to your mental health, to your joy, to your future personal growth and development. Please give thumbs up to the channel. It's a form of encouragement. Subscribe to the channel so we get to share more about these issues of life. And also share your comments about your opinion about that philosophy. Take full responsibility for your ups and downs, for your achievements and your errors and your mistakes and your failures, and your pain and your joy. Is that philosophy absolute? So we can see that it also created trustworthy people, because they see that you don't take whatever they say for granted. If they say, hey, you make sure you monitor that. You say, you don't trust me, I trust you. But you know, that's just my own way, or that's just my philosophy. I only make sure I monitor things that we know on the ultimate and affect my joy, my peace, and the well-being of my home. No offense meant. Not that I distrust you, but that's just me. They will take you for who you are, and they learn to do the needful. So it also encourages accountability, because they know that, well, you are not just taking their word for it. You are monitoring to make sure their word counts, that they walk the talk. So in that case, they be more ready to be accountable because they know that you are ready to hold them accountable. Not that that's why in management, when you are the chairman or the senior manager, they call you the accounting officer. Whatsoever job assignment you delegate, whichever way the thing is worked out, you as the most senior officer, the accounting officer will be accountable and responsible to give the report, whether it's positive or negative. So that's why you can't just delegate an assignment, a job, and go to sleep. You don't do that. So what are the possible negatives of it, that if you want to just live by that philosophy? So you can ignore structural barriers, because in society, you don't live by yourself. You live in a community, you work with a team. Some people are born into poverty, so you don't blame them for the situation, although you may be born in the gutter, but don't live and die in the gutter. That thing has been exemplified. That's why you hear the story from grace to grass. Yes, you are born in a poverty-ridden environment, but you still have opportunity to strive to get yourself out of that situation. So for you to stay perpetually in that condition, that is where the challenge is. So, but you should know that some people are born into that. Some people are now living with discrimination, like we have in South Africa, when we have this apartheid situation, try to peg people down, affect their education, now limit them to certain opportunities. Then the same thing happened in US, where we have a lot of segregation and things like that going on. But that is becoming history now, by and by. So we have poor educational system, like people that grow in the village where you don't have this computer system, you don't have these scientists for them to have a standard lab and so on. Compare to someone that grows up in the city with all the facilities available. So these are some of the things that are limiting. But at the same time, these are things that one can still outgrow with diligence, with right mindset. That's why the mindset is very, very important. So then we have areas where we have conflict, fighting, and things like that. There are people with certain disabilities that also limit them, but it doesn't at the same time put them down. So, but these external conditions matter. They need to be taken into, so you don't hold somebody responsible for being born, like some of the comedies or the jokes that are being put by this AI now. They show babies that say, hello doctor, where am I? Say, you are in Nigeria. Why was I born now? Why was I not born in some other better country where things are working better, very well? No, take me back to my mommy's womb. I don't want to stay here. That's because of birth position and a lot of other things. So, but there are certain things that are not within the control of the individual. And if one dwells with that philosophy, one may be dwelling with that principle of self-blame, and that can lead to depression. Like things that happen to, though that's one of the worst case scenarios. People that are sexually molested by certain unscrupulous members of the society. Now, some people will not be blaming them when they get to the court to shame them, that they are the one that predispose themselves to such an assault. What kind of thing is that? So they try to psychologically destroy their brain, make them to be responsible. You are the one responsible for it. So that one, they now start to blame themselves, feel dirty about themselves, and a lot of other things. And it's not supposed to be so. So it also excuses some institutions from their responsibilities. Like the government here in Nigeria, they do not produce good schools, and they are now underfunding the schools, and they are now not repairing the roads and accidents. So if accidents happen, do you blame the driver? When they're full of potholes, and like now, there is a cry in one part of Nigeria between Benin and Agbo, between Benin and Agbo in southeast Nigeria, where the road is so bad that people are spending 3-4 days on the road because they got stuck, because that place became something else, like a death trap. So do you blame individual for that? That's the institution, that's the federal government, is a government, and people are paying taxes, and they are doing so much to oppress the people. So that's institutional something. So you don't blame people like somebody has appointments now, business deals, they are traveling, or somebody taking someone from the hospital, a lot of other things. That one has a lot of consequences. Like something done by the federal government and the governor of CBN of Nigeria some years back, Mr. Emefiele, Godwin Emefiele, when they were talking about changing the currency of the country before election, and a lot of people have to suffer so much losses. Do you blame them for that? No. It is government policy and institutions and evil machinations of people that don't respect humanity. So we don't do that. And some families also are responsible for the unpleasant situations of their children, especially those people that are not taking care of their girl child and a lot of other things like that. Especially where we have a polygamous family where the children are now pitted against one another. So a lot of things. And it can also encourage what is called perfectionism. That means because you don't trust others to do things very well, you are pushing them, they must do exactly the way you decided. Remember, once again, this is Nisinuga Reflections, a channel that is established just for your joy. Now, a useful way to now determine this is what are things that what are things within your control that you can take actual responsibility for. Now, your decisions, whatever decisions you make, whatever the outcome, you should be ready for whatever you get from that. Now, the efforts you put into an assignment, into a job, is your responsibility. Whether you are diligent or you do work half-mindedly and so on. That's why the Bible says, a man that is diligent in his business, he will stand before kings and not before ordinary men. Now, how you prepare for your task is also within your capacity. How you prepare for the task ahead, for the task at hand, is also very important. Then the integrity. Are you a person of integrity? If you do things faithfully, joyfully, people can trust you. People can you are reliable. When you say A means. When you say B, when you say tomorrow, they will be ready tomorrow. When you say this one, you cause this one, so they will get the market, find the cost to be as you declared it. Then that's your also. Then you're learning, whether you are teachable, whether you're ready to learn or not. That's also part of things within your control. You make yourself teachable, ready to learn. Nobody is absolute in knowledge, because knowledge is dynamic, isn't it? So Vanessa, you are welcome. You say you're welcome also. Thank you for reflecting with me in Sinuga Reflect. I'm reflecting from Nigeria. Let me know the country you're joining me from. So you can also control your attitude. Attitude means how you respond to situations and circumstances, whether within the family, within the community, within the society at large, because your attitude can determine people's response or to whether you can get help, assistance accordingly. Also depends on your attitude. Are you accommodating? Are you judgmental? Now, what are things that you can influence by your lifestyle, by your own actions and inactions? You can influence relationships. That's how people relate with you, how you relate with others. It's also within your frame of operation. Then, in the teamwork, are you a team player? Are you a team player? That's also within your scope. Then, are you a good negotiator? That means, are you able to do critical thinking about circumstances? That also counts. Then your leadership qualities. Do you live by example? Are you modeling what you expect from others? Are you diligent? Are you forthcoming? Are you proactive? All these things count. Okay. So thank you once again for reflecting with me on the Sinuga Reflections. Share your comments and your thoughts. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And let's go on to reflect together. I talk about relationship matters, life matters. Because both of these affect your mental health, your joy, your peace of mind, and this on the long run affects your personal growth and development and your general wellness. God bless you. Thank you so much.